Hello, good morning. Today we will be discussing literary criticism, which is examining books for a specific purpose. So let's just get this out of the way. A literary criticism is not a review of the text, it is not a summary, and it does not have to be positive or negative. Literary criticism started in the 14th century. Aristotle wrote this book called The Poetics. It was a description and criticism of art at the time, specifically poetry. Once the Renaissance era hit with the printing press, it was easier to recover old texts, and literacy rose in the public. In the 1980s, literary criticisms were at their most popular, but they still hold a place in modern universities. So, literary criticisms and literary theory and literary critiques are all the same thing. They're just used interchangeably. And they're kind of like using lenses on a pair of glasses. So when you're reading the text, you read it just with your plain eyes. But if you put these lenses on, you can see the text in a different way than you normally would. So try to perceive literary critiques in that way. You can put on different lenses to see different things, and there are no right or wrong interpretations. There's no right or wrong literary criticism. So I'm going to give you a couple examples, and you will write your 5-page paper on one of these or any that you find online. So the first one is the reader response. It's a focus on the reader's response to the text. It's not just a reflection of how the text makes you feel or how it makes others feel. It relates to your life experiences. Because each reader will have a different perspective, there may be multiple interpretations. So it will be interesting to see and compare during your peer reviews how all of your critiques compare. So I wrote a short example at the bottom for The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Uh, the Road made me reflect on my experience in basic training. I can relate to the man's defeated but determined attitude. And I give a quote, "What's the bravest thing you ever did?" He spat on the road in a bloody phlegm. "Getting up this morning," he said. And notice I did a citation with the bookmark page. So you have to make sure that you are using MLA citations for your paper. The next critique is structural. So it's deriving meaning from the structure of texts. You're writing about writing. It's analyzing the syntax, the vocabulary, the pacing. Why did the author write it this way? Another example is McCarthy uses sentence structure to intensify the emotional meaning of the text. Firstly, he avoids quotation marks to show how disjointed the main character is, so on and so forth. We talk about the pacing of it, the short, choppy sentences. There's also the feminist gender critiques. So, feminist criticisms relate to how women are represented. Gender criticism concerns how men and women are compared. This also relates to masculinity, which is an interesting topic, especially with The Road. So you're asking the question, does the author stereotype women? What gender roles do men and women have? How do the men act in comparison to the women, or in relation? So, final example. The lack of female characters in The Road can help infer the character's psychology. The man's wife left shortly after giving birth to the boy. On page 134, the man tells the boy a short story about his mother. You get the point. So, right now you're going to write one or more paragraphs on what criticism you would like to pick. Keep in mind that your 5-page paper will be based off of this decision, so it's very important that you pick something that you strongly believe in. If you find a different criticism online, or if you can't decide, let me know. So just some key points to think about while you're writing your paragraphs. Write about why you chose that criticism. Try to think of supporting evidence from your reading. Are there any reasons you didn't choose the others? Did you think that structuralism sounded boring? Be honest about it. And fourth point to consider is, do you think this will help you in the future? Do you think this will help you? Are you planning on going to college? Do you plan on writing? Do you plan on reading and reviewing books as a hobby, maybe? Once you are done, start skimming the reading for evidence and take notes on that in preparation. Thank you. Have a good day.